Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zahid Zakwan, and today I will be presenting about our course Engineers in Society case study. Okay, our group is Group 13, which consists of Muhammad Nur Al-Fatihah, which is the leader, and Muhammad Afiq, Ahmad Shahid, Amir Ridwan, Zahid Zakwan, which is me, and Muhammad Luqman. So the title that we have chose for our case study is How Work From Home Policy Affects Engineers' Productivity During this Pandemic. Okay, let's start with introduction. So working from home remotely is a practice where workers will work from their home environment. So like I just mentioned, this practice is usually done by freelance workers and only minority type of works such as 3D artists and small artists and workers. So with the current world health crisis caused by the pandemic of coronavirus disease COVID-19, which has been spread globally, this work from home policy has become the optimal solution to help reduce the spread of this virus. Although there have been few discussions regarding this policy, if it will affect the productivity of engineers during this global pandemic condition. Therefore, this title has been chosen as our case study to help further identify and get a better image on the effects of work from home. And now the objective. The objective of this case study is to determine the biggest challenge of remote working. Secondly is to identify the technical and ethical reason of failure of remote working. And last but not least is to determine corrective measure to prevent similar failure. Okay, next is scope of work. This case study or paper is the idea on how to understand how work from home policy affects the productivity of engineers, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. I think that's all from my part. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Nur Al-Fatihah Beroslan within Metric ID 24823, and I would like to present about discussion on the topics. In current situation, we all know that the number of COVID-19 cases in Malaysia is increasing abruptly because of there's a number of people that is not following the SOP that have been set up by the new governments. Therefore, the government set up a new rules where the workers can working from home are allowed working from home to prevent the number of cases be increasing. By doing this, the employees need to be connected to avoid any kind of miscommunication while working from home. There is three advantages that can be found while working from home. Firstly, employees have a freedom to choose where their workplace it is, either doing their work on the bed or on the sofa. Secondly, engineers can save time and cost for commuting and also lower the carbon footprint. It can make the engineers more prepared from doing the works and prevent the pollution on the greenhouse. Lastly, I will give one of the biggest challenges of remote working. While working remotely, we can see that many of the engineers faces a big challenge while working from home, especially in technology failures or getting distracted. Technology failures like no internet connection or cannot access the software or files make the works become more difficult. Getting distracted is a normal thing while working, but it can interrupt the flow of working. In the end, there is several challenges like managing time, staying organized, security issues, and socially interacting. That's all from me. Thank you, and I would like to pass to the next person.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Ahmad Shahid bin Muhammad Arifin, and today I will be discussing on the topic technical issue of failure. Technical issue is any problems that happen with equipment such as hardware failures or software such as having bugs in a program that make it difficult or impossible to do one's work. Some of the common technical issues are not responsive PC and broken peripherals like mouse and keyboard. These issues can greatly affect engineers' productivity when they are working remotely. One of the most common technical issues during pandemic is having bad internet connection. Not all areas, even in Kuala Lumpur, have access to good internet connection. There is also with the high traffic and congestion because more people are working from home now during this pandemic, causing slow internet. This issue causes engineers hard to stay connected with their colleagues, which further reduce their productivity. Next is engineers working from home have poor hardware access. They are not able to use their company-provided computers in their offices that have better specs and must rely on their own PC or laptop. In the office, they may have more advanced and faster PC, or maybe have multiple monitors, and having to migrate to one small old laptop will be difficult. Some of the engineers might not even have a proper chair and desk for them to stay focused during the long working hours. Last but not least, staying organized proven to be a challenge. Engineers can only communicate online using tools like emails, text messages, or sometimes voice calls. This can cause delays when they need to convey information to the team. There's also the problem with having too many communication tools. It is hard to stay responsive when many people are trying to communicate in various ways at the same time. This also leads to less casual chats, which can cause increase in stress and reduce their overall productivity. That will be all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afiq Amiruddin with ID 24899. So today I'm going to present on the ethical issue of failure. So ethical issue simply related to any kind of activity, decision or scenario which create a conflict with a society moral principle. So previously there have been a lot of cases reported between engineers, especially related to the ethical issue at their workplace, such as discrimination or even harassment towards their work. So during the pandemic, there are also several ethical issues that actually can affect engineer working productivity during work from home. And there are several of them, and I would like to highlight them now. Some of them now, right? So first one is issue on management failure to provide an effective monitoring work progress. So the problem here, when some management did not provide a proper tool to monitor their engineer work progress, and will result the engineer will have a hard time to give a full focus on at their work, right? So the reason is because there is no one that monitoring their progress, and at the same time they tend to keep delaying their work, which could lead to a bigger problem, such as work project could be delayed, and also will affect to lowering their work productivity as an engineer. Next one is issue on lack of motivation on work during work from home. So the problem arises when engineers currently during the pandemic, right, only can attend virtual training instead of hands-on or person-to-person training in order to understand the technical part of their job. So the problem started when they tend to work on their work while having a less understanding on the technical part of their job, which could could lead to a bigger problem in the next phase of their project, for example, right? So lack of proper training on their job could lead to a further lowering their motivation while doing work, and at the same time could also affect their work productivity in a bad way. So next one is the last but not least is issue on lack of flexibility on work time during work from home. So working from home is totally different when working at their workplace. So for example, like there is greater distraction and or any for example like any sudden responsibility that come from their family, especially living when they're living with their family. So the problem here, when some of the company policy that still strictly following the standard working hours for their employees, even during the pandemic, eventually could lead to lessen their engineers' working productivity. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Luqman bin Muhammad Fairuz, and I will be presenting about the corrective measure to prevent similar failure previously discussed by my fellow members. First and foremost, a company should set up a SOFA to 5K running challenge for the team so that it can boost their morale and help them to stay connected. Also, provide a social opportunity during progress discussion. Next, a company should have a communication plan in place to help team members feel connected to the business and about their work that should be delivered. Introducing a schedule for regular business update, team meetings and one-to-one will surely help the employee to feel connected, stay focused and speak up if they have any concerns. And for the employees, they should improve their connectivity at home by installing an instant messaging tools like WhatsApp, so it's easy to have an informal conversation with the team. For the company, they should host regular video calls and platform like MS Team that can help building a good working relationship. Next, on the ethical of failure, we should select a space specifically for work that will increase our productivity. How we can achieve this is by choosing a separate room with good natural source of light that can become our dedicated home office. We should also use different space in our home to create a physical distinction between working and relaxing, making the boundaries between home life and work life much clearer. We also should make some small enhancement to our workstation to reduce the chance of lower back pain and tension headaches. Next, we should try to allocate a certain time for completing our housework and ensure that our workspace is clean and tidy and ahead of the working day to avoid some distraction. Thank you very much.
Okay, hello and assalamualaikum. My name is Amin Ridwan and I will be discussing about the conclusion of this presentation. So, in conclusion, work from home has been adapted worldwide because of the COVID-19 and this has affected the productivity of the workers. Therefore, this paper focuses on determining the biggest challenge of working remotely, identifying the technical and ethical reason of failure of working remotely, and determining the corrective measures to prevent similar failures. So, the biggest challenges that can be deducted is employees are constantly getting distracted while on the job. The social interaction between the workers are also negatively affected. Employees and workers have a harder time in staying organized, and technological failures such as internet connection cutting off during a meeting and the security of sending their work online will be affected. So, the technical issues are that the fundamentals of working in a team, such as communication and interacting with each other, is affected. Keeping their work organized also becomes a challenge. Therefore, by having mandatory meetings every day, the team will be more inclined to interact with each other. Working during off hours is also a problem when a worker asks their co-workers about work during off hours because it can lead to stress. Therefore, companies should enforce a strict working hours to avoid this problem. And lastly is technological errors where their internet connection or equipment will encounter problems. Therefore, companies should supply their workers with the right equipment as well as setting a day where workers can enter the office to use the equipment there. And finally, the ethical reason of failure. The ethical issues comes from a lack of responsibility by the managers as well as the workers while doing their job. Therefore, in order to counter this problem, companies should reward their workers for doing a good job. Motivation can also become an issue due to working from home. So close monitoring needs to be done in order to ensure that workers are doing their job. And lastly, workers will tend to let themselves be distracted by the environment. So workers must be responsible and pick a room where they won't be disturbed and is able to focus on their job. That's it for me. Thank you.